Supercar Throttle is going EV today, and it's a special reason why, because this is the first V-Series that's fully electric, an SUV, and it's the fastest Cadillac ever. I'm Anthony from Supercar Throttle. 615 horsepower, 3.3 seconds 0 to 60. So you're getting a sports car that's lifted up with over 6 inches of clearance. This is in the stellar black metallic. That is an upgraded color. But when you're putting all of these specs and you're talking about the range, because you're going to be losing over 40 miles opposed to the standard LYRIQ, all-wheel drive setup, a near 50-50 weight distribution, this thing is a madhouse. I mean, usually we're talking about the Cadillac CT5e Blackwing. Well, that's not going to be the case anymore, because this EV goes that extra step with 650 pound-feet of torque, charging time on a level 2 at 7 hours with a total range of 285-mile range. Now, I understand that's not necessarily ideal, but when you're looking at the normal LYRIQ that gets around 330-mile range roughly, it's actually not that bad, because any performance vehicle that's ICE usually gets less in their MPG. The front is going to be unique to the V-Series. LED headlights, daytime runnings, and choreography lighting with 6.1 inches of clearance, front parking sensors, 360-degree reverse camera. The lower is an active grille shutter, and it's going to look a lot more performance-driven going into the V. And if I sound excited, it's because I am. I mean, when Cadillac brings something like this that's getting 87 MPGEs for the city, 72 MPGEs for the highway, and they're going this bold move, which they are taking the tax credit away from us, this is awesome. I mean, if it had an ICE variant, I would be all over this, because it's just under $90,000, getting this performance, getting this much luxury amenities that you're gonna see even in the interior, and you can still tow with this up to 3,500 pounds. For the fastest option in charging, 86 miles you're gonna get in 10 minutes if you charge with a rate of 190 kilowatt max speed. Now, on a level 2, you get 50 miles with the available 19.2 kilowatt in 1 hour, or you could charge up to 31 miles with the 11.5 kilowatt charger in about an hour. The premium, well, that's going to give us these 22-inch wheels. 6-piston Brembo brakes in the front with the red brake caliper, but you will have to pay extra for that, and you also get the V right there on the wheels. The lower is going to have the V badging. You get the Cadillac badge here, but there isn't any way to open it for charging. You can only do this on the driver's side, so this is definitely a con to me, but you can use Tesla charging. But now it's not all pros. There are cons, like you gotta pay extra for those red brake calipers, you gotta pay extra for this paint palette. When you're starting to talk about a $90,000 vehicle and you're going all EV, because usually EVs are gonna cost about $5,000 to $10,000 more, and it's not quite the same in speed terms like a Tesla or Rivian or even a Lucid. But then when we look at the price, this thing is going to shine. Because even though you're going to get quicker charging times going that route, and you're going to get a little bit more range, you're going to have to spend a lot more money than around $90,000 to get this type of performance. So Cadillac, it basically hit a home run. 5-link front and rear suspension, and dynamically speaking, well, the batteries are centered low into the chassis, so the design formula is from all the EVs that make basically a 50-50 weight distribution, and when you're considering this thing weighs near 6,000 pounds, it's pretty damn impressive to me. But I mean, let me know your thoughts on that. Now, I'm not an EV guy, and I'm sure a lot of people know that from Hawkeye Rides. But when it comes to performance, and you're getting some decent range, and you're getting decent charging times, and all the luxury of Cadillac, it starts making me think, you know what? Did I make the wrong decision going back to Infiniti? Standard LED taillights, and you have a lower roof spoiler that integrates into a trunk lid spoiler with a diffuser, front and rear parking sensors, a reverse camera. It's a 360-degree reverse camera, and they go a step further because you have a digital rear view mirror. The Germans don't even do that. And when you're going Cadillac, the essence, or the difference, I should say, between Cadillac and Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid, they used to build nothing but ICE vehicles. So when you're going this route, you're not going all futuristic like you're going to Mars. You're getting an example that's not only dynamically speaking correct, but you're still getting the vibe of a vehicle, and they even have a V button, which when you click it, you'll hear in a second, it makes an exhaust tune. Obviously, it's pumping through the speakers because it's a battery-operated vehicle. But I like that they give you these little attributes, so it's not just an RC car like the others. It's a vehicle that actually has a characteristic. But let us know in the comments, would you go to the new V Series or the competition? Leave a like. If you're new to the channel, click a subscribe button because all these clicks help with the algorithm so we can bring more performance vehicles here on the channel. We got it all in V. We're gonna see that 3.3 seconds. It's fast. I like the soundtrack that comes in. 5-link front and rear suspension. Dynamically speaking, it's a 50-50 weight distribution roughly, so that means you could take some bends on the road. Just hugs them. All this with 22-inch wheels. Obviously the road is good. There's not a lot of imperfections or potholes. But if I was to go over some of these reflectors, I know it still doesn't equate to a pothole, but I'm sure we're gonna have some rougher terrain here in a second. It's pretty smooth. The steering wheel does have some feedback and it does have some weight to it, so I appreciate that because you actually feel like you're driving a sports car, like I said, on the exterior. And when you get these larger vehicles that's lifted up in their SUVs with 6.1 inches of clearance, I appreciate that because I got the everyday drive, plus I got the performance, and now I have some range because I got 285 miles. Now going about 30 miles an hour, God, you can see it's literally on demand. That's what these EVs are known for, all-wheel drive configuration. So, I mean, it's really hard to nitpick on the performance spec side, but there is some cons to the vehicle, meaning you have to use everything through this 33-inch screen. And there's a little bit of a learning curve. You will have to go through different prompts. You have the seat settings here, like I was saying on the interior. Not a huge fan of this Mercedes design. I wish it was still here. I guess I get used to this because you have multiple different ways of moving the seat as you're seeing whenever you rotate this, and the same thing for your massage part of the seat. So I guess it works, and you wouldn't want to have buttons everywhere. So they do kind of give you that minimalistic look, except for here, they just kind of unload there. It's just so composed. I mean, this is something you'll get a speeding ticket because you won't realize how fast you're going. Some other cons is the Super Cruise Control. Unfortunately, you have to pay a premium after the 3 years. They only give it to you for 3 years. Now, the warranty is 4 years. To me, it would just make sense. Give me 4 years. I like the Google-based system because it's just easy. Everything's wireless connectivity, wireless charging pad. I mean, it takes care of you with all the charging ports throughout the interior. This is a family-oriented vehicle, and it's not in a $100,000 price point. That itself makes this a steal, because go into any competition to get the performance that you're getting with 650 pound-feet of torque, 615 horsepower, you're not gonna get that at $88,000 to $90,000. I'm sorry, there's just no vehicle that would make sense. Even if you go into like a Hellcat, you're spending over 100 grand on a vehicle. That's why this becomes a sweet spot vehicle. Turn radius at a stop point isn't the best. It's about 3 lanes. Let's rock and roll. Drive quality is good. The seat cushion is good. My knees do sit upwards, so for a long journey, I can rest them. That kind of helps. And the footwell area is very large, so you have plenty of interior space for the front. And even in the rear, the occupants back there are pretty sufficient for the most part. I mean, you saw with me sitting in the front and me sitting behind me at 6'3", I have plenty of clearance for my leg or knee space, and I can just relax because, I hate to say it, if I was a dad driving this, I would probably be having a lot of fun, especially taking some bends on the road. My kid would be like, oh my God, what are you doing, Dad? Especially Issa and Yusuf, they just love when I do performance, because when you have something like this, you can do it on a daily, so I don't have to take it out just on a weekend. That's what makes this so unique. I wish they had an ICE variant, but as a EV, I think they did a really good job, especially with the range, the charging time around 85 miles in 10 minutes for a DC charge. Yeah, I mean, 7 hours for a level 2 charge, that's about right on par with everybody else. It's not gonna be something like a Tesla, a Lucid, or a Rivian, but the price that you're getting, the performance, I mean, let me know in the comments what you think. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out this next video right here.